The doors of the Great Council do not open for humans. Today they opened for me, and every eye in that giant hall turned toward my chest, because I had just unfastened my collar in front of 400 rulers of the galaxy, and something was glowing under my skin. My name is Ethan Barlow. 23 years ago, I was a dying child in a burning city, and today, I was standing on a floor where one wrong word could end my whole species' chance at freedom. The air in that chamber was thick and electric. Nobody breathed. Nobody moved. All I could hear was my own pulse, loud and fast, counting down the seconds until someone decided whether humanity was worth saving. Let me take you back, so you understand why my hands were shaking. The war against the Sarn Hive ended when I was 7 years old. My city fell in one single night. Buildings turned to dust, streets filled with smoke. I remember lying under broken concrete, unable to move, watching orange light flicker across a sky that used to be blue. I thought that was the last thing I would ever see. Then a shadow leaned over me. It was the queen of the Sarn Hive, newly crowned, walking through the ruins of my city like she owned every grain of dust in it. Her guards told her to keep moving. A dying human child was not worth her time. But she knelt beside me anyway. She looked into my eyes, the way nobody had looked at me before, like I was still something worth saving. She opened a small gland beneath her eye and let 3 drops of golden liquid fall onto my tongue. It burned going down, then it turned warm, then it turned quiet. I lived. Nobody could explain how. That golden liquid was called amberlight, and it was only ever meant for her own people, never for a human. The healers said it would do nothing inside me because I did not have the right body for it. They were wrong, but none of us knew that yet. She walked away before I even opened my eyes fully. I do not think she remembered doing it by the time she reached her ship. Queens like her save lives across 400 worlds. A single child in a single street is a small moment in a very long life. But for me, it was the only moment that mattered. I grew up carrying a secret glow inside my chest that no doctor could explain, and no scanner could fully read. For years, it did nothing. It just sat there, quiet, waiting. I told no one except my closest friend, Grace Hallow, who worked beside me when I became one of the few humans allowed inside the Hive government as a translator. We spent years studying old Sarn medical records in secret, trying to understand what was sleeping inside me. We learned that amberlight was never meant to heal. It was meant to bond. In Sarn biology, when 2 of their people form a permanent connection, this golden liquid links them together forever, mind to mind. It does not work in a human body, because we do not have the same organs. That is what every Sarn scientist believed, and that belief became the foundation of an entire law. A law that said humans are not capable of true bonding, and because of that, humans could never be granted full rights inside the Hive Empire. That law was about to be voted on today, in this very chamber, and it would decide the future of every human being alive. 4 years ago, everything changed. My daughter Lily was born. I was holding her for the first time, terrified and exhausted, and I felt something crack open behind my ribs, like a locked door finally giving way. Heat spread through my chest. My skin turned warm gold for a moment, then settled into a soft glowing light just under the surface. The amber light the queen had given away without thinking 20 years earlier had finally found what it was searching for. It had bonded, not to another Sarn mind, but to the love of a father holding his child. I wore high collars for 4 years to hide it. I told almost no one. I was afraid that if the Hive discovered a human carrying their most sacred substance, they would take it from me. Or worse, take my daughter from me, to study what had happened. So I stayed silent, and I watched, and I waited for the right moment. That moment arrived this morning, when an elder counselor named Victor Ashcombe stood before the entire chamber and announced that humans would never receive full citizenship because we lack the capacity to bond the way Sarn people do. He said it calmly, almost kindly, the way someone explains a simple fact to a child. 300 human representatives sat in that room and had no argument, because by every law written in that empire he was correct. We do not have the organ. We were never supposed to be capable of what I was hiding under my shirt. I stood up from my seat at the back of the chamber. My legs felt unsteady, but I kept walking toward the center of the floor. Whispers spread through the crowd like wind through dry grass. Guards shifted, unsure whether to stop me. I reached the middle of the chamber, directly beneath the high seat where the queen sat, watching everything with eyes that had seen 10,000 years pass. I unfastened my collar. The chamber went completely silent, the kind of silence that feels heavier than noise. Every Sarn counselor's eyes shifted to the same alarmed shade of violet at once. An attendant near the front actually staggered backward, whispering that what she was seeing should not be possible. The queen rose from her seat. I was told later that in 10,000 years, she had never once left that seat during an active session. She walked down the long steps toward me, and with every step my heart pounded harder, because I did not know if she would be angry or afraid or something else entirely. She stopped in front of me, up close. Her presence felt like standing near an open flame, not painful, but impossible to ignore. Her eyes moved from the glow in my chest to my face, and back again, searching, trying to remember, trying to place one human child among 400 worlds of forgotten kindness. I spoke before she could. I told her about the burning city. I told her about the exact words she had said that night, words I had never once stopped hearing in the years since. I told her how the amber light had waited silently inside me for 20 years, doing nothing, because it had no bond to attach to, until the day my daughter was born, and it finally found something strong enough to hold on to. Something shifted behind her eyes, like a locked door slowly opening after a very long time. She said that she remembered the healers telling her the gift would do nothing inside a human body. She said she gave it anyway, because she could not bear to walk away from a dying child without doing something. She admitted she never expected it to matter. She never expected to think about it again. I placed my hand over the light glowing beneath my skin. I told her it did not need her to remember it working. It only needed time, and it found the one thing strong enough to wake it up, which was love for my own child. I told her that her gift had not simply healed me that night. It had planted a question inside me, and it took 23 years and a daughter of my own for me to finally understand the answer. I am not sure which word reached her first. Maybe it was watching, right there in front of the entire council. An ancient law failed to explain the glow inside my chest. Maybe it was simply hearing someone call her their queen, not out of fear, not out of duty, but out of genuine gratitude for a small act of kindness she had long forgotten. Her eyes, which by every scientific record in that empire do not produce tears, began to shine at the lower rim. Then one broke free and ran down through the fine ridges of her face, golden and slow. The most powerful ruler in 400 worlds stood in front of her entire council and wept, openly, for a small mercy she genuinely did not remember giving. She turned to the chamber and called for the scientists to come forward. She called for Victor Ashcombe to step down from his position at the podium. She called for every human representative in that room to move to the front, where everyone could see clearly what she had given me and what it had grown into. 11 days later, the law was rewritten. It no longer mentions the organ that defines bonding among her own people. It now speaks only of capacity, the ability to take something small, something almost forgotten, and turn it into a source of strength that keeps growing long after the giver has stopped thinking about it. I still do not know if the Queen remembers my full name after everything that happened that day. I have stopped worrying about it. What matters is that she remembers what she gave me, and that in the end, that was the only gift that ever truly counted, for her, and for every human standing beside me in that chamber, finally free.